Recently, we discussed the news that Greek Princess Theodora is set to marry her fiancé this autumn after the couple previously postponed their wedding twice. The Greek royal born in London began dating Matthew Kumar in 2016, and in November 2018, the couple announced their engagement. They initially scheduled their wedding for 2020 and planned to tie the knot on the Greek island of Spetses, but they had to postpone the event due to the pandemic. They postponed the date a second time after Theodora's father passed away on January 10, 2023, at the age of 82. On this occasion, we decided to recall the beautiful love story of King Constantine and Queen Anne-Marie. King Constantine of Greece was one of the most beloved and respected figures of world royalty. He was also known as the brother of Queen Sophia, who married Juan Carlos in 1962. It was during the celebrations and ceremonies of their wedding in May 1962 in Athens that over 100 representatives from almost all European royal houses connected to Juan Carlos and Sophia gathered, among whom was the young Princess Anne-Marie of Denmark, the groom's cousin and one of the eight royal princesses who carried the bride's train. Anne-Marie, the youngest daughter of King Frederick IX of Denmark and Queen Ingrid, born a Swedish princess, is a cousin of the current King Carl Gustaf of Sweden. The 16-year-old Anne-Marie and the 22-year-old Constantine, Sophia's only brother and heir to the Greek throne, spent most of the celebrations together, especially at the balls. They had first met in 1959 during a visit by the Greek royal family to Denmark. They also met during holidays when they were invited by the Greek royal family to their residence in Corfu. As Constantine himself recounted, seeing his cousin again in a magazine photograph, where she already looked like a grown woman, he wished to visit her in Copenhagen again on the occasion of a regatta in 1961. It is worth noting that Constantine won a gold medal in sailing at the 1960 Rome Olympics, where his sister Sophia was a member of the team. They were frequently connected by family ties. The kings of Greece, Paul and Frederica, like King Frederick of Denmark, were great-grandchildren of King Christian IX of Denmark. All four of the young couple's parents were also direct descendants of Queen Victoria of England and the Russian Romanovs. The relationship between the young people blossomed instantly at the wedding in 1962. Constantine proposed to Anne-Marie a few months later at a regatta in Norway, which brought together representatives of various royal families. Returning to Athens, he informed his parents of his intentions, which they had already suspected, as Queen Frederica wrote in her memoirs. The Greek monarchs gave their consent, but the matter proved more complex at the Danish court. The princess's age, her education, and religious considerations required a delicate approach. At that time, Anne-Marie was sent to the Swiss boarding school Le Mesnil in Montreux for a more comprehensive cultural, religious, and language education, particularly to strengthen her German and French, as she was already fluent in English, Danish, and Swedish with the addition of Greek. On January 23, 1963, just under 60 years ago, the engagement was officially announced in both royal courts, and both families gathered in Copenhagen for a press conference. They then traveled to Athens to present the young bride of the heir to the throne to the Greek people. The wedding was initially planned for 1965, and the bride converted to Orthodoxy. However, an unexpected event occurred in March 1964, a little more than a year after the engagement. On March 6th, King Paul I of Greece passed away, leaving his family and people in deep mourning, and the young heir, at 23 years old, ascended the throne. Anne-Marie and her family attended the touching and solemn funeral. The wedding was moved up by several months, and after a period of mourning, it took place on September 18, 1964, in a radiant Athens. This wedding, alongside the marriage of Juan Carlos and Sophia, became the most grandiose and cosmopolitan royal wedding of the 20th century due to the diversity and high status of the guests the events held, and the beautiful ceremony at the Annunciation Cathedral in Athens, where later the funeral ceremony for King Constantine would be held. At the most dazzling event before the wedding, the gala dinner and ball at the palace in Athens, Guests witnessed the stunning 18-year-old bride adorned with Russian emeralds and diamonds belonging to Queen Olga, King Constantine's great-grandmother, gifted to her by Queen Frederica. At this ball, the second Athenian descent took place, possibly even more impressive than the first at the wedding of Juan Carlos and Sofia in 1962. In it, guests descended in groups of 3, alternating depending on who was in the center, a gentleman or a lady. The gentlemen were dressed in naval uniforms or summer white tailcoats with orders, and the ladies in light dresses with orders and magnificent jewelry. The ceremony, conducted by Metropolitan Chrysostomos II, was resplendent and solemn, characteristic of Orthodox ceremonies, with their rituals, chants, and a shower of rose petals from the dome. Anne-Marie wore a white satin gown covered with layers of tulle designed by Jorgen Bender, inspired by a late 18th century model with an empire waist, straight lines, and a train, all complemented by a long veil. She chose the same Irish lace veil worn by her mother, Queen Ingrid, and her maternal grandmother, Princess Margaret of Sweden, who was born a British princess and was the first wife of King Gustav VI Adolf. For jewelry, she wore the Khedive tiara made by Cartier in 1904 for the aforementioned Princess Margaret, a gift from the Egyptian ruler, and a diamond cross given by Constantine. The train was carried by 6 princesses: Irene of Greece, Anne of England, Margareta of Romania, Christina of Sweden, Clarissa of Hesse, and Tatiana Radziwill. During the Orthodox rite, the Queen Mother Frederica crowned the couple, followed by the groom's witnesses during the dance of Isaiah Princes Charles of England, Harold of Norway, Michael of Greece, Ingolf of Denmark, Michael of Kent, Karl of Hesse, Ludwig of Baden, Alexander of Yugoslavia, and Michael Bernadotte. The ceremony ended at 11:15 a.m., and Anne-Marie became the youngest queen in the world. The royal couple rode through the streets of Athens in an open carriage, receiving greetings from hundreds of thousands of people. Dear viewers, thank you for joining us today and sharing in this captivating tale of a grand royal wedding. This story, filled with splendor, tradition, and incredible beauty, reminds us of the importance of moments that remain in memory for centuries. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more unique stories from the world of royal dynasties. Share your thoughts in the comments and give a like if you enjoyed it. And if you want to hear the continuation of this story, show your support. It helps us create even more engaging content. Until next time. And of course, we eagerly anticipate the upcoming wedding of Princess Theodora, which promises to be an equally grand event. This much awaited day is sure to become another bright chapter in the history of the royal family, and we can't wait to share all the exciting moments with you.